And welcome back to White Claw Wednesday, episode number 58. Cracking open.
Yay!
Ooh. Cracking open a lemon.
Let's go.
Digital
I
cheers.
had these in the freezer. There you go. Cheers up, brother.
Dank.
I had these in the freezer, so these things are ice cold right now. In fact, one of them was frozen, but it's so hot here that it only takes like a minute to unfreeze.
Yeah, I was. How's the heat been?
I mean, it's been brutal, dude. Honestly, I mean,
is it more humidity or is it more like sunny?
No, it's more humidity
Okay.
is the problem. Like, it's not even that. I mean, it's not that hot. It's like 80 degrees usually, but the problem is it's humid. Like, you walk outside and you're just sweating, you know? But what's crazy about it, I was telling Amanda the other day, what's crazy about being here is, like, I don't even mind being sweaty. I don't even mind being dirty.
It's like the island feel.
It's just like the island lifestyle. Not that I'm part of it, but like, it's just weird. Like, I'll have sand on my feet and not care, you know?
Uh-huh.
I'll smell and I'll be sweaty all day and I don't care. I mean, my hygiene's not bad. That just sounds terrible, but
no, I know what you mean. It's kind of like
a different vibe, man. I don't know
how
to
camping.
explain it.
You know?
Yeah, exactly.
Except
there's a shower right here, which is great.
Well, of course, but there are certain situations where it feels like normal to be in a different, state of being than you're used to, you know?
Yeah, I guess it's just the vibe, man.
You just adapt to it.
It's just, you just feel okay. I don't know how to explain it. But the
water
heat is something that still gets to me.
Oh, okay. Is the water swimmable?
Is the water swimmable? Yes, Frank.
Okay. I'm just curious.
Is that sarcasm?
No, I meant swim. I meant swimmable and like, it's hot outside. You step outside, you're hot.
Yeah.
You get in the water. Does it cool you off?
Oh yeah, dude.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Is it like that?
The water feels amazing here.
That's
man.
what I'm imagining.
Like, literally, I'll take Chelsea on walks in the mornings and at nighttime. In the morning walks, we'll go down to the beach, and I'll just take my sandals off and just start, walking like right at the cusp of where the waves come up. So every wave just hits my feet and just gives me a nice little burst of cold joy. It is beautiful here, man.
Does Chelsea like the ocean?
Oh yeah, she does. She we've taken her to the beach a couple times, like to stay there and kind of hang out.
Mm-hmm.
And she does, but she kind of gets tired of it. And she drinks like she's so dumb. I mean, she's a really smart dog, but she's dumb with this. She drinks a bunch of the water.
Oh, okay.
And so it's like guaranteed she has diarrhea,
Yeah.
Because it's all salty.
So it sounds like she hasn't really gotten the technique of swimming as a dog without swallowing all the water.
No, not yet. She'll like breathe and then she'll like bite the water. It's so cute, man, honestly.
Yeah, I can picture. Yeah, like when a dog swims, it's always funny because their head is kind of like sort of like the fin that sticks out of the water, and their whole everything else is just underneath the water, just paddling away, and their little head just sticks out and kind of just barely floats above the top.
Yeah, dude. And it's just amazing driving here, man. Like, I don't know how to explain it. Like,
that's what I've been meaning
windows
to ask you.
down all day, every day. Windows down, just vibing out.
What's the situation with your car, your Honda?
Oh, it's at my grandma's house right now, actually.
Okay.
It's
I was wondering about that.
Yeah, so my car is at my grandma's, and I bought like the Amazon Basics car cover. I'm sure it's not the best one, but I put that over it, and it's just sitting there. So hopefully the battery doesn't die. It probably will.
Is that a thing? If a car just sitting in one spot for months, the battery will die?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because when you're driving it, right, you're actually charging the battery
The
within
battery?
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
the beauty of a
Hey,
car
you
battery.
should know this. You
Oh,
drive a Bolt.
Yeah, it's an electric car, but I mean, you kind of forget that that's also how I forget that that's also how a regular car battery works. And also, when you hear car battery, you think it's not like other batteries, you know? It is because other batteries they will run out of juice and you got to replace them. But a car battery, when a car battery runs out of juice, it's it's not a
You
good
gotta
time.
replace it. No, so you can actually jumpstart a car, which is pretty cool.
Yeah,
But,
so the battery's dead and you bring it back to life.
I know, it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yo,
I mean,
guys, did you guys know one time, I forget what episode, it was definitely in Riverside, we were recording, and my car barely started driving to your house, which is really embarrassing. I don't know why I drive to your house. It's like 100 feet away, but
Yeah, I remember you
I
telling me
drove
that.
to your house, and then it didn't start when I tried to drive it back home. Can you believe that?
Yeah, I remember it because it's funny when you started telling that story. I was like, wait, I thought it didn't start when you were leaving, but it like really didn't
Yeah.
start at all when you were leaving. Like it wasn't just like a sputter thing. It was like a
No, it didn't start at
Yeah.
all. My dad had to come and jumpstart the car at your house, which is so
Just
funny
right
'cause
outside
you
my
live
house.
so close, you know.
yeah.
Like, how did it die? Anyways,
I don't think we have the tools for a jump start in my house.
you really, yes, you do. You have to.
I don't
Peter
know.
definitely has something.
I don't know
like
if we
that.
do. It just seems like you.
It's just a cable. That's all it is. It's a cable with 2 points, a positive and negative.
All
And
I'm saying is I'm happy you contacted your dad and not me. 'Cause, yeah, I would have been a little.
I would have
bit
called you, and it would have taken 30 more minutes or something.
Yeah, you remember in The Office when Andy pretends to be the mechanic, and he ends up shorting out the battery of the car that the woman asks him to look at, and he puts
I don't
the
remember this at all,
positive and the
actually.
negative on the completely wrong spots, and he absolutely blows the
No, he
radiator and does something. And
What
he's
is
like, "Yeah,
this?
you're gonna have to call another mechanic." He's like, "'Cause I only really work on motorcycles."
Oh my god, that's hilarious. I think I do remember that now. Oh man.
That's the episode where
great
Michael
show.
gets strong-armed into buying insurance from that guy that they all think is former mafia.
Oh.
And he's at the
He
restaurant.
sets up like
he asks for
in
the gabagool
room, right?
because that's what they call a meat in the Sopranos TV show, and he wants to act like a mafia guy. So he says, "Can I have the gabagool?" And the waitress is like, "What is that?"
Oh man, that's good, dude. I gotta rewatch that. I gotta do a full rerun. I keep trying to start. I'm trying, buddy. I keep trying to start WandaVision.
You.
Um,
But
you-
what does keep trying mean? Like you're sitting on Disney Plus staring at the play button and you're just like, nah.
I just can't bring myself to click the button.
Oh
No.
dude.
It's actually kind of your fault, okay? And here's how I'm going to spin it on you.
Okay.
Because you said that this is a show that Amanda, her mom, like the whole crew might be interested in, right? And so I was pitching them this idea of like, oh, like we should all watch this together, you know? And so, they were like, okay, yeah, like let's do it. And so now that I've been trying to watch the show, not everyone is available anytime that I'm available. And so we never started it.
It's become a problem of linking up everybody's TV time.
Right,
Yeah,
exactly.
That's the tough thing about trying to watch shows with either someone who isn't, your significant other who you live with, or just like a group of people in general, because it gets hard to be like, oh, I can't do it now, but oh, I have 3 hours available, and it's like, oh, I have 3 hours available, and I don't have 3 hours. So I remember I had to ditch Pete because we started Game of Thrones together. We were doing a full binge. We were getting ready for season 8. We were gonna be ready when it came, and I remember Pete was just slowing me down. And there was one point
Poor
where
Pete,
he came to the Hamilton crib, and I was sitting there watching an episode and without him, and he was just like, "Wow, so it's like that." And I was like,
wow, dude,
I was
you
like-
didn't even tell him
I was
beforehand?
like, "Yeah, it's well."
That's
he
cold,
was
man.
always coming in and out of that place, 'cause- but So I knew I was going to run into him, and I knew I was going to get caught red-handed doing it. So I just
I was
kind
about
of
to
let it
say.
happen. I was like, yeah, sorry, Pete. I just can't wait for you. And then it was funny, by the time
Couldn't
season
do
8
it.
came around, he still wasn't there, and he finally caught up to us with maybe a few episodes left in season 8. So I was happy that I made the decision I made, because I
Nice.
would have, missed. I would have missed the battle of Winterfell episode the night it premiered, which was pretty
Ooh,
much
yeah, you
the
can't miss
episode of that
that.
season. Even though it was all dark and you couldn't really see much, but there was that, the knife drop finale that made it all worth it. Yeah. Do you
That
remember?
was, oh God, sick
I've-
show. I do.
Oh, it was so cool. I felt like I was
Arya
watching like a
Stark.
sporting events when Arya did that kill. I mean, I was just like, oh.
I mean, that was sick. And then the cinematic of her, she's like here, and
Yeah.
I think is his name the Ice King or something like that? He's got her in a chokehold,
Yeah.
I think.
Mm-hmm.
And she drops it, and it just slowly spins, and you see both their heads start going down,
Yeah.
and then she catches it, and she's
Immediately goes.
and, and then everyone just explodes. So cool,
yeah.
man.
Yeah. That's.
You're right. That should have been the finale. Well, not
Yeah.
really, but
You notice that is a huge weakness of enemies and fictional stories. When you have a big army that isn't human, they almost always have that whole hive mindset weakness. I mean, it's not even actually a mindset. It's more of like they are a hive. So when you take out the queen or the king or whatever, the tippy top, everybody immediately just goes away. It's like, so you remember that happened in Avengers. As soon as they closed the portal or whatever, everybody died. I think.
yeah.
Now I can't even remember. But
There was,
yeah,
like, a
it's like,
linkage.
you have these giant armies that always seem like unbeatable. Like, how do we defeat these guys? Like with the Night Walkers. Is that what I think that's what they were called in Game of Thrones.
Nightwalkers, I think so.
They were zombies, so it's just like, oh, we're screwed. We can't win this battle. But then as soon as Arya does her move, it's like, oh, game over.
Yeah, it's honestly kind of ironic. Like no one really questions stuff like that,
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
oh, of course. There was this huge army, and there was only one way to beat them,
Yeah.
And of course, it just has to happen that way. And
I
you're
would
right. Like in Avengers, they had all those little alien creatures come down, and the only way to beat them was to cut them off from their source or whatever, closing the portal. Therefore, they don't have access to whatever communication system it was, and
Yeah.
they all just died, right?
Yeah, and they all just quiche, yeah. Ugh. And then
Pretty funny how that is similar, isn't
yeah,
it?
it is the common theme. I could, it probably happens in so many movies I can't even think of them all right now, but
I feel like it has to have happened in the Transformers movie. Like that has Transformers written all over it.
yeah, I think it has. I mean, there is the fact that what's what's funny about the first Transformers is that Megatron is going after, the cube, the Allspark, because he wants
Yeah.
more power.
Yeah.
And then Sam Witwicky just ends up killing him by giving him the Allspark.
Yeah.
He's just like, take it in the chest. And he's like, oh, I can't handle it.
That's true, huh?
That's also a common plot where the item that the villain wants so much is what ends
kills
up
him.
being their demise. Same thing happens with
Wow.
Red Skull and Captain America First Avenger. He ends up, grabbing the Tesseract with his bare hands, and he gets, teleported to space for eternity.
I feel like the same thing happened in
Yeah.
Isn't the same thing happen in Wonder Woman? Did that guy did Ares get killed by the poison? Or no? You know what I'm talking
Like
about?
in the original, in the first Wonder Woman?
The first Wonder Woman, yeah.
I can't.
Still haven't seen the second.
Oh, you didn't. Okay. Yeah, I just remember the first one. I'm pretty sure she just kills Ares with like her metal wrist gauntlet thing. She like absorbs a blast and throws it back at him. I can't necessarily remember that one. But the sequel to
Right
Wonder
on.
Woman did have a very kind of, one of those plots where the climax is everything's falling apart and there's just this really simple solution, like killing the queen. With Wonder Woman, it was just, renouncing your wish and everything went back. But that was, that I already gave my thoughts on Wonder Woman.
God, that sounds so lame. We don't have to get into it.
Yeah, exactly. It was as lame as it sounds. But speaking about superheroes, did you see the new Justice League trailer?
No, I didn't.
Oh,
what?
dude.
There's a Justice League trailer?
Yeah, so Zack Snyder is having his cut of Justice League come out to HBO Max since he was fired and pretty much forced off the project, and it was, rushed to be finished by Joss Whedon and didn't turn out well. So he's making this, apparently it's going to be like a 4-hour movie, basically a whole new movie. And one of the big reveals in the trailer, it comes at the very end of the trailer, is that he's bringing back Jared Leto's Joker in this because that Joaquin Phoenix Joker movie standalone isn't in this DCEU that we started at Man of Steel. But Jared Leto is the Joker of this DCEU, and Zack Snyder, I guess, since Zack Snyder in his own way is getting a redemption with getting to show what he wanted to do with Justice League, he's also kind of giving Jared Leto a redemption in a way of like, here's another shot at playing the Joker, because everybody hated you so much and how it was handled in Suicide Squad. Like, let's see what you can do now. And he's got a whole new look. Like, he's got long hair. You don't really see the tattoos. Nice. And the scene that you see in the trailer is he's talking to Batman. So I'm very
I gotta watch it.
I'm very interested in the movie, and there's some really cool Superman shots in the trailer too. That was just, it just looks like even if, here's the thing, I don't know if it's gonna be good, but it's gonna feel like a conclusion to what he started with Man of Steel and Batman v Superman. Like, it's gonna be the closest thing that because that whole DCEU was really mishandled and messed up and just kind of got all over the place. And I think this movie is going to be the closest we're going to get to putting a bow on it and wrapping it up,
Yep. Exciting stuff. Have you played or watched The Last of Us and or followed along?
No, but Pedro Pascal just got cast as Joel.
Dude, that's what I was going to bring up.
Yeah, which is pretty sweet. He's really
HBO.
Ever since he got that Narcos role, man, his career has just
he's
taken off.
The fucking man, dude.
Yeah.
He is the man. So The Last of Us is doing a HBO TV show, right? And this was announced a little while ago.
Yeah, I did hear about this.
And so Pedro Pascal and Bella Ramsey are going to play Joel and Ellie, which is so cool. I don't even know who Bella Ramsey is. Is she the one from Stranger Things?
Now I have to check. Is it Bella?
Bella. Oh, what? Oh, wait, no.
Oh, dude, she's Game of Thrones.
Dude. She was that one Lord that was the little girl. Dude. Remember her?
Yeah.
No way.
Dude, that's some pretty sweet casting. Okay.
That is pretty sick.
Nice. Yeah, that'll be an awesome show. That I never owned the game, but I do remember when it came out. Of course, I watched Let's Plays of it because I was so interested in it, and I didn't have a PlayStation 3 at the time. But I mean, what a game that's just begging to be made into a series or a movie,
Seriously. Yeah, you just named it right there. So did you ever watch the second one? Last of Us 2?
No, I didn't watch it. I didn't watch it.
I mean, okay, so the first one was like it was somewhat of a happy ending. It wasn't what we wanted, but for those people that really don't know about it, you're basically following a grown man, post-apocalyptic zombie apocalypse, where in the beginning of the apocalypse, his daughter dies. Like, that's like the opening scene.
That's the opening
scene. You, like,
game
trying
sequence.
to save your daughter.
Yeah.
You can't.
That is awesome. It's a great, because don't you start out playing as the daughter? Like
I can't remember.
Like
that.
I think at the very beginning, like, you're controlling the daughter, and then there's one point in the action, cutting between the cutscenes and the gameplay where you switch over from being the daughter to being Joel and saving her, or trying to save him.
You are, because one of the opening scenes, or one of the scenes in there, is you trying to find your dad at night.
Yes,
and
exactly.
it ends up being Joel is like basically fighting off the neighbor who is now a zombie. And then Joel runs inside and the zombie comes in behind him, I think. Anyway, so the daughter dies, unfortunately. And then later on, maybe it's 10 years down the line or so, Joel sort of meets Ellie. And somehow he's tasked to take her to what's called the Fireflies, like headquarters or whatever. And the Fireflies are like a resistance group that is like trying to find a vaccine. Anyways, I won't get too much away, but basically at the end of it, they are, driving away together, and Joel has sort of accepted her as like, you're building up this relationship over the game. So I know I just jumped from, his daughter died to he's accepting a new daughter essentially, but basically he's like the guardian of this girl, and the girl reminds him so much of his own daughter, right? And the girl is Ellie. And so in the second game, now you're mainly playing as Ellie, right? And man, is it completely different. And I'm sure you've heard some stuff about it.
I heard that the ending of the second game got leaked.
Oh, I don't know.
Before the game came out, the ending of the sequel got leaked.
Oh, I think I heard that, and everyone was so upset about it. Yeah.
Exactly, yeah. And people were like, it was one of those things where it was such a big release that the internet was using it as its newest troll tactic of you'd go on a sports post about LeBron dunking or something like that, and then you'd go to the top comment, and the top comment is the ending of The Last of Us too, and it's
no way. Oh
yeah,
my God,
it became one of those things where people were like using it as like a, hey, I know what happened, like I'm gonna fuck you up right now.
Yeah, that's actually kind of funny, but eventually what happened is the game goes through, and I won't give away the ending, but I do highly recommend it to anyone. I mean, most people don't really like watching Let's Plays on YouTube, but this game is so in-depth, and it's essentially a movie. Exactly. A great movie, right? And even if you just want to watch the cutscenes, like you can watch those cinematic ones. I mean, just as entertaining as popping in a movie. But, a lot of characters died, and fans weren't really happy about it. So, there was kind of like a bad taste in everyone's mouth, because the first one ended so happy and stuff like that. And
it's hard to live up to greatness with a sequel when the first one's so good.
Yeah, and this game was great. I mean, it was a great game. The graphics, the gameplay, they included a lot more added to it. But the storyline just left this like, it was just like this tough feeling, It was a sad feeling, And the developers were like, well, listen, it wasn't, this is post-apocalyptic, this is a realistic game, a realistic story. It wasn't supposed to be a happy ending, It's supposed to make you feel, right? And you did feel. You felt really sad and really bad, and you were, upset. And so I think there's a differentiation between a bad game and a not a happy ending, right?
Yeah. The same thing goes with just, happy endings in general.
Right, right.
There's a lot of entertainment out there that you won't be able to enjoy if you're a person who can't handle a bad ending, which is fine. Oh. Like I totally understand. Like that's the thing with entertainment, any form of entertainment, like you seek it out and you enjoy it to entertain yourself and have a good time. So if that means that you see a bad ending and suddenly you didn't have a good time or you're not having fun, then I totally understand you avoiding things with bad endings and topics that are sad and just, kind of bummers. But I will say that there is something very rewarding to being able to enjoy those kinds of endings and those kind of situations just as much as the good ones,
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Because you miss out on a lot of great stuff if you're...
It's art,
Exactly.
It's not all art is supposed to be, mom and daughter playing in the park. You know,
Yeah.
it's abstract. There's a lot of variables that come into play, and it really just depends on the artist, or in this case, the group of artists, to decide, okay, how do we want to take this, you know?
Yeah.
And unfortunately, it didn't go well with the community. But I am excited to hear about the TV show because I'm wondering if they're going to go the same route, or if it's kind of going to be like a comic book MCU type thing where they're like, okay, we want people to actually watch the show.
Yeah.
If they know the story, they're really not going to watch it, right? Because it's a bad ending or sad ending. So I'm wondering if they're going to do something different.
Oh, I bet they do.
I hope so.
Yeah. I bet they change certain, they're going to keep things the same, but then they're also, that's the great thing about a good adaptation. It changes the right things, or it changes the things that make you feel like, oh, wow, this is fresh. I'm enjoying this. And then it keeps the things that are kind of why you're watching. And I think Marvel does that really well with it. It takes comic book truths and kind of flips them on their head. You know, just like a prime example is, Tobey Maguire having the organic webbing in the Raimi trilogy. That's like a little tiny change that just makes it kind of stand on its own and memorable in its own way. And I think Last of Us will do that with keeping certain characters alive, killing other ones off. And I also wouldn't be surprised if they go past the second one, kind of similar to how Game of Thrones passed the books.
Right.
If they can,
they definitely will.
If they can get 2 or 4 seasons out of the first 2 games, then and the show is massively successful, and they're trying to go a 5th and 6th season, I see them creating their own storylines. Which from that point, I'm very excited to see where it goes, and I'm also very excited to compare it to The Walking Dead.
Me too. Yeah, that's a good point because The Walking Dead's really the only well-renowned zombie apocalypse show.
Yeah, it is the zombie apocalypse show, and the thing about it is a lot of people complain that it sometimes feels like there's not enough zombies and it's people talking. And if I can remember The Last of Us gameplay I don't know it, front to back, but the parts I can remember were kind of slow burns, atmospheric, walking through creepy areas, looking for things, and occasionally coming across 1 or 2 zombies that, scare the shit out of you.
Right.
And building on that, you have human conversation. So I kind of see already similarities between the way the Walking Dead show was and the way the Last of Us video game was played. So I'm very curious to see how they handle that.
Yeah, and also in The Last of Us, there's a lot more variety when it comes to zombies. They were a lot more creative, in terms of the video game, right? So I don't know if they're going to carry that over into the series because they had some pretty crazy zombies.
You talking like different kinds of zombies?
Yeah, they had things called they called them clickers,
mm-hmm.
and it's an infection, right? That turns humans into zombies.
Yeah,
and the infection continues to grow even after the person has turned into a zombie. And so if a person has been a zombie for so long, they turn into what's called a clicker, where the infection is so large that it sort of overtakes their face and they can't see or smell.
Huh.
And so they just rely on their hearing. And so they're really creepy. You don't remember this in the video game?
I think I do. It's the ones that kind of, they have like kind of, it looks like big mushrooms on their heads, and they're just kind of wandering around blindly.
Yeah, and they make this clicking noise, and it's so creepy. They just go, like, it's so creepy, and the video game does really well, and I'm sure the TV show will.
Oh, yeah.
Of, like, you having to, sneak through, dark areas with all these things clicking around you and making these really creepy, noises. And in the second one, they went even further, and they created more different type of zombies that, because as the infection grows, right, you have the creativity to sort of think, okay, if there was an infection that was growing in a human for 5-10 years, how would we see that, right? In the Walking Dead, you just have the same type of zombies.
Yeah, they're
every
either
time,
a zombie or
you
they're
know?
not.
Right, exactly. So I'm interested to see how they go about that, and I'm definitely watching it, man. I am so excited.
Yeah, that will give them a big advantage. I can already, I can already visualize the scene of Pedro Pascal explaining what a clicker is to Ellie over like a campfire, Like
Yeah.
you hear it, you think everything's good, and then you hear that click, and then he gives a little quick expositional line, and then it's like into action. Oh yeah, it's gonna be sweet.
Yeah, man. When is it coming out? Do we know? I'm looking it up.
Well,
I'm getting so
I
excited.
would
I'm getting
assuming
so amped right now.
if I had to guess, I bet they're gonna shoot if the casting is out, they're gonna go into production this year.
Oh, 2021.
Is it supposed to come out at the end of 2021, or is it supposed to be in production during 2021? Because my guess is it produces this year and then it comes out 2022. Probably a fall 2022 release.
Well, IMDb says 2021, but it doesn't say anything about. It just says episode 1.1, 2021, which doesn't make sense.
Okay, maybe maybe early 2022, maybe late 2021 if they're really going for it.
Well, whatever.
Or if it's
Time flies, man.
or if it's not a huge order of episodes, my guess is probably 11, probably 12, 13 episodes.
Do you ever hear about these films that are coming out and you're like, oh, it's gonna come out in 2022, and you're back in 2019 and you're like, oh my god, that is that'll never come out, It's
and then it comes out.
And then you're like, wait a second, what? It already came out, It's just crazy, man. Time flies. You really got to stay active and just keep your mind steady, keep working on something, keep improving, because if anything that the pandemic taught us, if you're, not really staying on top of your stuff, you could fall into a pretty bad place. So, man. Yeah, that's all I got to say. Geez, just keep at it, people. Got to keep moving,
Just one day at a time. Speaking about keeping it moving, Trump got acquitted for the second time. So they kept that.
Frank,
moving,
I thought we were not supposed to talk about this. Didn't we say?
We
we're not going to talk about
say
Trump?
We wouldn't give him any media coverage. You're right, dude.
Whatever, fuck it. We've lied before. Okay. Continue.
Well, I was just gonna
This will be the last time. How about that? Packed.
Fine. Last time.
A White Claw Wednesday pack. Do you have another claw there or no?
I don't have another. I'm still working on my first claw, but
okay. I'm gonna crack another one to make it official.
And I see this as, we probably won't have to talk about him on this show till 2024.
Yeah.
When he more than likely runs again. So,
or he creates the Patriot Party, one or the other.
Or that too. So yeah, I would just leave it for that. And the fact that he's not on Twitter anymore completely for the rest of the foreseeable future, that also cuts down on what he's able to do. Okay, if we're gonna talk about one thing that's dumb, let's talk about that. You heard about the girl putting Gorilla Glue in her hair?
Oh, I did see that, dude. Yeah.
Brutal, dude.
The adhesive glue. Yeah. Oh my god, I feel so bad for her.
After that internet thing, after that came out, I saw another classic daily. I think it was Daily Mail, of course. Something on Snapchat, And it was a guy who saw and heard about this Gorilla Glue girl, and he thought to himself, "Oh, this is another internet challenge."
Get out of here.
This is another cinnamon challenge. So he thought to himself, he's like, okay, well, I can easily, put some Gorilla Glue on my lips. No, that's not what he did. He put a Gorilla Glue. He lined a plastic cup with Gorilla Glue, and then this was his idea. Put the lining on, and then he was like, and then I'll put it on my lips. I'll put it over my lips, and I'll just be able to lick the glue off. I'll just be able to lick it off, and you
Get
know,
out
of
of
course,
here.
of course, he ends up in the ER, and like you see the photo of him sitting in the ER with the doctors trying to figure out how to remove the cup, and you know he's sitting there with a cup glued to his face, and apparently, in order to get it off, they had to leave a part of the cup attached to his lip or something. I don't know, but yeah, it's interesting. This reminds me of the Tide Pod challenge.
Oh my God.
An item that is extremely popular for one use gets used for a completely other use. It's just a
Did
bad
people really
situation.
do Tide Pods? Did they really ingest?
No, I'm pretty sure there were some kids who ate Tide Pods during that whole thing.
Jesus Christ. You know,
Because
we got a problem. We really got a problem,
Yeah.
man.
And I noticed on the Super Bowl commercial for Tide Pods a little fine print on the screen saying not for edible consumption.
Yeah. Dude,
And
okay. Have
yeah.
you seen? Okay, everyone and you, if you haven't seen the College Humor video of I forget his name, but he's one of like the guys that works at College Humor. This is on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
He does he reenacts like being a CEO in one of these situations, and one of them is of him being a Tide Pod CEO,
Yeah.
and like he's going over products, and with his like marketing team, and his marketing team keeps like marketing, little dish soap things as like lollipops and
Oh yeah.
like frozen detergent, and it's like in the shape of one of those like push pops, And he's like, do you not see the problem with this? And by the end of it, he's got like stains on his shirt. He's like, his hair's all messed up, and he's like going crazy.
Uh-huh.
It is hilarious, man. Everyone, you got to go watch it because it is so funny. Just imagine being the CEO of Tide during that time.
Yeah. Being like, do we? Because they're so convenient.
They are convenient. Yeah.
They're so much easier than having to pour the bottle of detergent into the cup and then put the cup. It's just easier to just toss a pod in first and then put the clothes on top of it and shut it and start it.
Yep.
It's like, just because they're the size of chicken nuggets and they're fruity colored, it's like suddenly they become edible.
They do look good. Like if it was a candy, like it would, that's what we should do. Really, we should make Tide Pod candies.
Yeah. Well,
I'm
that's right. That's
thinking-
not a move though. We can't do that because as soon as
Why not?
Tide legit. Imagine if Tide actually started an ad campaign where it's like, hey, remember when your kids were eating these Tide Pods? Well, we made candy versions to put in stores to really confuse them. Now they won't know if it's a jar of candy or if it's a jar of laundry detergent. I just see that I can see it going there. It becomes a lot easier for someone to make money off of their poisoned child when there's Tide candies also on the market. It's like, because imagine if there was a
Maybe
rat
call,
poison candy. It's like you can't do that.
Yeah, but there's also not a internet craze of people shoving rat poison in their mouth.
That is true. I'm just imagining like back before the internet, like imagine in the 70s,
Yeah.
a kid goes into the gas station and he sees like a box of candy that says rat poison on it.
Yeah.
And then he's asking his mom, "Can I get candy?" And she says no to candy. And then he ends up back at home mad about not getting candy. And then he sees the box of rat poison and he's like, "Oh, that's candy." Boom.
And that would definitely happen. It would.
Yeah, if
Tide Pod made candies, yeah. But we
that
got
would happen.
a problem, dude. I mean, the fact that the internet does this, I mean, this happens all the time, Like crazy challenges like this that get people in serious harm's way. And, not only that, I mean, the internet is just so bad for like misinformation. I mean, we just got, it raises the question about how do we regulate all this stuff? How do we stop kids from shoving Tide Pods in their mouth? You know? How do we do it? Do we get rid of the like button? Maybe.
You say get rid of the like button?
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be an interesting place to start. Why not just make it unappealing to the eye? You know, make it like some ugly tan color or something. I don't know, like beige pods.
That's a good idea.
You don't think that's a good idea?
No, that's a good idea.
That is a good idea.
I think if
It is.
Tide didn't make them so deliciously looking, they wouldn't be in this situation, you know? Like, you can't make a Tide Pod look like a delicious, sugary snack.
Pillow candy.
With burst of blue raspberry and powdered sugar.
And green apple. Yeah.
And green apple. I mean, come on, you know?
Yeah, now that we're describing it, where it's like you got the powder sugar base, and then you got the strip of green apple juice, and then you got the strip of blue raspberry juice.
Boom. You take a bite, burst of sugary syrup, green apple, sugary syrup, blue raspberry, just trickles down through the powdered sugar and just makes this nice mooey, gooey solution mixed with your saliva. Oh man, that sounds delicious, dude. That sounds like a Halloween, you know, a winner right there.
Dude. That could be a Law and Order episode. Like, I'm imagining a 2021 Law and Order episode. You have a serial killer who kills kids with giving out Tide Pods at Halloween.
Nice.
Trick or treat.
That's a good one.
He travels from area to area, never staying in one place longer than the Halloween night. Wow, that's pretty good. But you know, that's the thing.
It almost sounds
immediately,
more like a.
As soon as you start, what? Sounds more like what?
It almost sounds more like a. Is it a 90210 episode or something like that?
Well, I can see Tide immediately sending a cease and desist.
We should pitch that to them.
You know?
Yeah.
They catch wind of the fact that Law and Order is shooting an episode where the murderer uses Tide Pods as his weapon, and they're like, no, we cannot have that. We can't. We'll pay you to not do that.
Have you you've heard of Top Gear, right? I think it's Top Gear. It's one of those like TV shows where they like go into like mechanics and cars and stuff like that, and they'll create these cars, you know.
Oh yeah, Top Gear.
So,
I've heard of it. I've never seen it, but it looks pretty good.
I think it was Top Gear. But what they did was, since we're talking about kind of like TV and stuff like that, what they did was they had a Tesla on the show one time, you know, and like of course they're all, you know, muscle car, gas powered, you know, I don't know, they're in Kentucky or whatever, and they staged like a breakdown. They took the Tesla out to a racetrack, and then they staged it as if the Tesla like broke down to like, I don't know why, to make Tesla look bad or whatever. And, you know, Tesla's like got that shit on lock. They're like, no, we know exactly what model that was. And we're looking at the data that's coming back, and nothing happened. And so they sued Top Gear, right? Or whatever show it was. I'm not sure if it was Top Gear. And what ended up happening is Top Gear had to plead that they're an entertainment, show, right? And so if you're entertainment, you don't have to be telling the truth, essentially, right? So they got to air an episode where they basically said Tesla totally broke down while we were trying to, you know, test it or whatever. And, you can't do anything about it. Isn't that kind of crazy?
Yeah. So, yeah, Law and Order could just skip around that. I mean, they could avoid any problem by just calling them laundry detergent balls. You know? Like we have our
I don't know.
murderer who is
I
killing
think
kids
they gotta
with
go with Tide.
laundry detergent balls by putting them in their Halloween baskets. What'd you say?
Maybe they could do Bide Tods. You know, make it like an anagram.
Did you say buy Tods?
Bide Tods.
Oh, Bide
Instead
Tods.
of Tide Pods.
Okay.
Or
Dude, just flip the letters.
Dites Pods.
Do you say tight pods?
The Skype's really not doing well right now, guys. Sorry about that.
Yeah, it's not.
Are you lagging right now? Because I just see you skipping like 20 frames per second or something like that. It's really bad.
Well, you know what, Ryan? I see the same thing for you. we're both
Can you see the sweat?
Same amount of. No.
Can you see the
that's
sweat
the thing.
dripping down my face?
I can
right
never see the sweat, the hard work you're putting into. You just
There is
it
literally
just looks like normal Ryan.
2 drops of sweat going down my face right now, and I'm leaving them. I've usually been wiping them, but I'm leaving them right here. It's so hot.
Okay, well, Ryan, that we've officially hit the point of the podcast where you talk about the heat, which means
true.
Remember that's
It's
our
hilarious.
closer for every. That's how we know it's time to wrap up. Is when you mention the heat. If you're mentioning the heat, we know it's too bearable. I mean, it's too. You can't bear it. You can't handle it anymore.
I mean, it's totally fine, but you know, Frank and I were talking last episode, and we were joking around because we were saying, like, you know, have you noticed that we close every episode on talking about how much I'm sweating? And you know, we both started laughing, and I guess, you know, it might be just a tradition now.
I think
it's bad for me because
yeah.
you know I have hyperhidrosis. So
Yeah, exactly.
you know, not
It's
to get
next
too into
level.
detail. But
All right. Yeah. Spare everybody. Okay. So, White Claw Wednesday, episode 58. Let's bring it to a close with a cheers.
58.
Digital cheers. Thank you for
Cheers up,
liking,
brother.
commenting, subscribing, all that stuff. We love you. And we'll catch you on the next episode. All right. Peace out.
Peace out, everyone. Bye-bye.